All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 6 of the ALR. Hang on. Oh, I've selected the wrong one. Hang on, 1 second. 1 second. Bear with me. There we go. Okay, now I'm in the room. Welcome to round 6 of the Tier 6 campaign of Season 21 of the Aero Racing GT7 GT3 Championships. Oh my lord. My brain has already decided to collapse on itself and I'm 3 minutes in. I'm not even 3 minutes in, I'm like 30 seconds in. Before we get to this race, I've just done 5 hours on my own on the Nordschleife, so I'm knackered. But we're gonna give it some energy anyway, because I love Tokyo. Great track, this one. Could not tell you how many laps we race here because I've forgotten. But hey ho, 8 laps of the sprint race. I can tell you that much at least. Let's get into it, shall we? I've been requested by a couple people not to do this one, but I don't listen to you guys. We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna watch some great racing on street circuits. I like this circuit because it's fast, it's narrow, and a lot can go wrong very quickly. I like the pit lane as well. It leaves a lot of possibility for a 2-stop with how short it is. That's enough of me yapping, because nobody comes here to watch me yap. People come here to watch racing. So let's first of all go on to the qualification results, shall we? It's a name we all know very well, sat at the top of the leaderboard. Mr. Ollie, the Swissman, 1:57.498. Pretty respectable time there in the Subaru WRX. Not a golden Subaru this week, though. The two, Ollie and Becca's both got new special purple liveries for this race. I believe this race only. We'll see if it's in Autopolis or Abu Dhabi to come, but they've got special liveries. Sitting in 1 and 3. Ian split the two of them. P2, only just under 2/10 slower than Ollie. Crilly, Mr. Damon, picking up the P4 position. Half second off Ollie. Gum, TJR, Hans, the Birds make up your next 4. Mikey Sands returning, wasn't here last week. P9 and I2 Point rounding out the top 10, 2 seconds off the pace of Ollie. And then P11 is owned by Fudo. I could not think of the right word there. Dose 63 starting in P12, Inorganic P13. Boyan, a new name. Or the second Toyota GR Supra driver in this tier, starting P14. We'll see how he fares in this lobby. John Orodea starting in P15, and bringing up the rear is Mr. Super Crackavelli, down in P16. Unfortunately, not quite far off the pace there, so not sure if it's just not a track for him, or if he had a mistake, or if he made too many mistakes, or what. But that is the Ferrari 296 starting all the way in last, and that explains why Fracas didn't share the replay, because he wasn't there. That explains a lot. Okay. Anyway. It's going to be some interesting racing today, boys. Let's get to it, shall we? First of all, starting off with 8 laps of the south counterclockwise circuit at Tokyo Expressways for the sprint race. Let's get into it, shall we? Here we go then. Highlighting Ollie as 5 lights are on for the grid start. It is lights out and away we go. I need to put my iPad and my phone on silent. 1 second. What a great way to start. Anyway, Ian leading the charge down through turn 1. Ollie though getting on the inside, potentially trying to get that P1 back. He's lagging all over the place it seems though. Has gone ghosted. Picks up his P1. Becca's now into P2, right on the rear bumper of his teammate. Looks like we may not have got off the start unscathed. Hold up, I'm still seeing people on the start-finish straight. Let's, that is what happened. What happened and where? That is Boyan sideways. We're just gonna jump on board with... Alright, so... Jesus Christ. Sorry, so we're gonna go forward to the front. Also, the Audi's also got a new special livery. Oh my god, stop messaging me. This is crazy. All right, let's start. Let's have a look at this again, shall we? So if we saw the start with the Subarus at the front. getting away nicely. That is a false start from a Peugeot there, looks like. So they will get off the line. That is a Lexus trying to dodge, and then that just causes a massive pile-up. The rear 6 drivers just getting completely caught in that. If we jump backwards, yeah, so that is a Citroen, a Porsche. That is a lot of drivers all caught towards the back of the field, still yet to get off the start line. TJR bringing up the rear. Inorganic and 4M Pusher, the 2 Citroen drivers, managing to get away just a little bit earlier than the rest of the drivers. TJR bringing up the rear of the front 10 in that train. That is a massive, massive incident. We've only just got off the line. Let's have a look as we go through the square pin, as I like to call it. That's a bit of a play by TJR, but backs out of it. Bird's still retaining P9. HK on the back of Hans. Looks like it goes a little bit wide through turn 4. So retains A. That is Hans in a wall. Hold on, wait, Hans is in it. Am I an idiot? Oh, I'm thinking, no, I'm being really stupid. Okay. Fracas is my host. I'm being really stupid, ignore me. I'm tired. Anyway, what happened to Hans? Goes through turn 3. Turn 4 has a bit of a wide entry, goes all the way over the curb left. Just has a spin out on the exit turn 5. Almost saves it, but goes into a wall on the exit. That's unfortunate for him. Drops him down to 10th. Will probably lose that 10th to Inorganic. And as well to 4N Pusher. That is him down to 12th. That's unfortunate for him. Anyway. Let's move forward throughout the field, shall we? Let's jump forward to our front runners. That is a half-second penalty for Damon, who's currently pushing P3. Ollie has dropped all the way down to P5. Don't know what happened there. I'm going to assume maybe he got outbroke in the square pin, or maybe it's just something to do with his lag. We did see him jittering about earlier in the race. But Damon with a half-second penalty, which will get served on the start-finish straight, I believe, is where the penalty line is on this track. Here we go. Almost 5 wide. 5 deep into the hairpin, one of the tightest parts of the track. Looks like we may have not made it out. Never mind. I was about to say, looks like we made it out unscathed. What happened? We're going to jump on board with Mikey Sands. And that is Ian. What happened with Ian, shall we? Let's jump back again. Oh my god, so much has happened. And we're not even a lap in yet. So, Damon makes a push on the inside, into the hairpin, into the brake zone. Ian brakes, gives plenty of room to everyone else, but then just slightly cuts across onto the right of Ollie, and that spins him out. That's really unfortunate for him. Goes ghosted while a few of the other drivers catching up, pass him. That is HK spun around by TJR. That TJR does wait for him, which is good sportsmanship as HK gets back onto track, but that is a bit too aggressive from TJR here. I'm not surprised that he didn't want to show that. Fair enough. He drops back down to P10 where he was earlier after the start. It's not the worst place you can be in this race, and he's got 4M Pusher breathing down his neck, trying to get that feature pole position, but it doesn't really matter right now. We're only 1 lap in. Fudo's lagging a little bit. Airtown Jenner also maybe a bit. I don't know. Maybe it's just the thing. Did someone just go into the pits? Hold the phone. Sorry. Crackavelli, what are you doing? Crackavelli's also a bit jittery, so the yellow flags were thrown out, of course. Fair enough. Fudo chasing down Crackavelli. Crackavelli going right. That looks like he just went wide in the turn. So that will be a pit line cutting penalty on the entrance. I believe I saw it go up to 6 before I jumped back, so that is not what we want to happen, especially in a sprint race, getting a 6-second penalty due to pit line cutting penalties. Not what you want. It'll be interesting to see what happens, where he finishes after all of that. Anyway, right now we're on 4M Pusher, battling TJR. He's got past him. So that is 4M Pusher now into the top 10 where he wants to be. But TJR back on the battle on the left hand of the Citroen. On the inside, coming into turn 1. Can he make good? Can he keep it here? Goes quite wide, hits the wall. Kisses the wall on the right side. That slows him down for 4M Pusher to take back P10. This battle for 10th position between the two French cars. The Englishman of TJR, the Portuguese man of 4M Pusher. See what happens later on in this race between these two. HK going quite wide through the square pin. Inorganic, a lot narrower of a line there. But HK carrying a little bit more speed, it looks like, as we get round Inorganic touching the wall there. Dropping forward a little bit to the Birds, who's now in a little bit of clear air with Ian just behind him. Ian, of course, gets spun out from third, I believe, earlier, like a lap ago. Birds going purple through 2 sectors. Of course, doesn't really mean much. They're only on the second lap, but good for him, I guess. Ollie down in P5 from P1. His teammate is in P1, so not too big an issue for the Subarus right now. We'll see what happens, especially with 6 and a bit more laps to go. He's right on the rear bumper of both the Alfa Romeos, Mike Sands and Damon. Or Too Slow Racing, as they like to call themselves. Forgot I had a game downloading during the sprint. Explains lag. Right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Ollie's still pressuring Mike as much as he can as we go through the S's part of this last sector. Mike Sands into the right-hand wall. Does give Ollie a little bit of a tap who goes into the left-hand wall. But Ollie does get past as Ollie back up into P4. Got 6 more laps to get back into that P1. Damon on the podium currently. Picking up a personal fastest lap, but Gum has set the fastest lap of the race so far. He's set the pace. Who will anyone beat it in the next 6 laps? Probably they will, but we'll see what happens. Gum now right on the rear bumper of Becker's with a Damon quite a decent bit behind now. Gum, will he make a move into turn 2? As he comes, he looks to the outside, doesn't go for an inside dive. Looks like he gives Becker's plenty of space. Very respectful racing here, we'd love to see it. Becker's was covering the inside a little bit. Gum maybe could have gone for a late break, but didn't go for it. Chose to keep it safe, keep it civil. Clean racing. These top 5 drivers not having any issues right now. Gum, though, still in the chase for Becker's. Goes purple through 2 sectors. I believe is that sector 2? I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway. No, it's not. It's the first sector. I'm being stupid. Anyway. Let's jump back a little bit. Following Damon as he's got a front row seat to the battle for P1 and P2. But Ollie is still chasing the second Alfa Romeo. He's got past Mike Sands already. Can he get past Damon soon enough and start putting the charge back onto Gum? As Damon gets his purple through sector 2. Looks like we're only 3 laps in now, and pretty much everyone's spread out through the field. No major issues, no major battles right now. Damon, though, still feeling Ollie breathing down his neck. Ollie, the driver with the most wins this season so far in this tier, has picked up the fastest lap and still pressuring Damon as Damon holds the inside on turn 1. But Ollie with that extra pace, that is Mike Sands grazing the wall on the exit of turn 1, and Ollie now having a look on the inside of Damon. So we head down towards turn 2, the square pin as I like to call it. Ollie gets track position on Damon, but Damon has the inside, so gets P3, holds P3 through the square pin, and Ollie is still left chasing Damon. As we go now round turn 6, finishing sector 1, Damon is still leading, but not by a lot, and Ollie is definitely wanting that podium position back from Damon. Of course, started P1, started on poles. Ollie's now giving a lot of hip and shoulder to Damon, as he's just pushing himself onto the inside through turn 8. Does pick up P3 as Damon grazes the wall, loses a bit of speed to that. Ollie is now on the podium position, but Damon is not going to take that lying down. He is still right on the bumper of Ollie. He has a look to the inside. Does he go for it? No, he does not. Stays just on the rear bumper as he's following him through. He's on his bloody tow bar at this point, going through turn 11 hairpin. Mike Sands using all the available track and then some on the exit, still trying to chase down his teammate. But Ollie has got past and is still trying to get away and catch up to Gum and Beckers in P1 and P2. Damon, though, wants that podium position back. Now the hunter becomes the hunted for this top 3 battle. Ollie, though, with the fastest lap of the race so far. Can he keep improving and can he keep catching the two drivers in front? As Damon goes slower than his quickest there. Jump forward, let's check on the top two battles, shall we? As Gum is still trying to get Chase Beckers down. The gap is relatively similar to what we've already seen earlier. Although Gum looks like he may be exerting a lot more wear on his tyres. It is only a sprint race, so it's not something you really need to care about. But if he pushes them too much, especially towards lap 7 and lap 8 as we close out this race, he'll lose a bit of performance, which could be the difference between getting this overtake done or losing a position to Ollie. See what happens for him, as it looks like the gap has increased between Beckers and Gum, but the gap has decreased between Gum and Ollie. Has Ollie got the space now to pressure Gum? Get the Subarus back into that P1 and P2. Coming now through the tunnel section. He goes quickest through Sector 1, beating his own time. Of course, Tokyo being one of the narrower tracks consistently on not only this calendar, but in the game. And it's fast as well, so making these passes is not the easiest thing to do, depending on what car you've got. Ollie, though, taking a good line there through the hairpin of turn 11. Still chasing Gum, not quite close enough to make a move yet. These top 4 drivers very close to each other and a big gap growing behind them as Ollie's still improving, 4 tenths up now through 2 sectors. He's right on the bumper of Gum now. Can he make a move through these S's? Around the final corner, turn 16 of this track. Becker's still leading. Gum still got a gap to close, but Ollie is on the bumper. He's gone for the outside. He's having a look at the outside. Can Ollie make the pass happen into turn 1? They are wheel to wheel. Ollie on the outside, a little bit of extra speed, keeps it out of the wall. He takes P2 in a glorious overtake from Gum. Well done, Ollie. That is Subaru's back into P1 and P2. We've come to expect it at this point in the season that these two drivers will be leading. Ollie not having a little bit of an uphill battle to fight back into this position, especially after that lap 1. He started on pole, went all the way down to 5th, and has been chasing since, but he's got himself back up into P2. The only driver in front of him now is his teammate. Does he try and battle the same as he's done with everyone else, or does he just play the team game and hold off everyone else? See what happens with him as these top 3 keep themselves very close together as we exit Sector 1, start Sector 2, the fast tunnel section. I'm going to jump back a little bit though. I feel like we need to give a bit of love to everyone else in the track. Ian, back up to P5. He was a bit lower down the field after a spin earlier. Still trying to chase. We know he's got the pace to be amongst that top 3 as well, but right now he's just trying to get himself either as good a finisher as possible or as good a start as possible in the feature race. We'll see where he finishes as he's leading from Mikey Sands down in P6. Mike thought he was going to go in the pits there, but no, it looks like he may have either broke late or just understeered through that hairpin. He's alright though. The Bird's the second Lexus driver. Plenty of clear air now and a bit of no man's land for him. HK started, where did HK start? It started in P8, currently P8. Was, I believe, involved in the incident at the start of the race. Maybe. It may have been him, it may have been the other Audi, I can't remember. But he's doing alright, no. Sorry. Started P10 up to P8. I'm stupid. Inorganic though, chasing down HK. So we've round out the end of lap 6, starting lap 7 shortly. Inorganic trying to chase down HK for that 8th position. Got a bit of a gap to close, so as he goes, puts in his quickest lap time so far of the race. I have to say that Crunchyroll livery on the Audis, I'm a fan. TGR in 10th, currently holding the feature pole start position and got a bit of space behind him that he can defend. Fudo goes wide, puts himself into the wall. Foreign pusher almost follows him, but nothing crazy as foreign pusher gets past into 11. Fudo now into P12 and just looks like he's twitching a little bit. He did say had a game downloading, so not what you want. Fudo though chasing foreign pusher. we come through the square pin section, the containers section. Some nice lines there. Let's give Boyan a bit of love, shall we? Our new driver this week, driving the GR Super. At least he didn't pick the Lamborghini in qualifying. Love you, Falcon, but that was a bit stupid. Anyway, point being, Boyan, welcome to Tier 6. Unfortunately, not quite. He's up one position from his qualifying start. But oh wait, we've also had someone disconnect. I've just realised. That's unfortunate. Lord Hands down in 14th. Looks like the Ferrari's just not having a great season in this tier. Started, of course, in P7, and he's down in P14, so potentially an incident that happened earlier on. But Hans is down in P14. Chased only by Airtown Jenner. He's now in 15th, having a little slide there through turn 11 hairpin. Bringing up the rear, and it is Cracavelli, the other Ferrari, who is DNF'd, who's, I'm going to assume, disconnected or maybe just left or something, I'm not sure. But that is not a good evening for the Ferraris so far. We're only in the sprint race, but we'll see what happens. As we're going to jump back towards the front of the field. Ollie's got past his teammate, so he is wanting to add yet another win to his tally tonight. Oh, Gums dropped. Gums dropped quite significantly. Potentially an incident that happened earlier on, but Damon is now up to P3. Got a big gap to close to the two Subarus as he's only got half a lap to do it. I don't think it's possible. I like to be optimistic. Unfortunately, I don't think it's possible in this situation for him to get any higher than P3 right now. Ian, though, again, another driver with some great pace, has shown to be worthy of the podium finishes. Chasing down Damon for that final podium spot. Again, though, got a big gap to close and has got Gum following him. Gum, though, also got a big gap to close of his own, as otherwise he'll be finishing in P5. Mike Sands again goes wide there through the hairpin. That's turn 6, but we're in P6, sorry. But anyway, turning our attention back to the purple Subarus this week as they round their way through the S's and through turn 16 on the final lap of the sprint race. We've come to expect it at this point, haven't we, ladies and gentlemen? Ollie Mr. Frick finishing P1 with his teammate in tow, P2. Great work from the two Subarus, as Damon finishing P3 and Ian finishing P4. Gum finishing P5. Unfortunate for him for how high he was earlier in the race. Mikey Sands finishing P6. The Birds almost... Oh, wait, he did cross the line. I'm stupid. I didn't hear the ding. The Birds finishing P7. HK finishing P8 with Inorganic right on his rear bumper finishing P9. Fudo finishing P10, which means TJR, unfortunately, was holding that 10th position for a while, has now dropped out and will be finishing P11. That's where he will be starting as well for the next race. Foreign Pusher finishing P12. Boyan finishing P13, up one spot from his starting position. Lord Hands, unfortunately, finishing P14, a big loss of positions from his start. And that means Airtown Jenner rounding out the finishers in P15. Press the button a little bit too late. That is your sprint race finishing positions, Mr. Ollie Frick. Finishing in P1 with the fastest lap point as well. 15 minutes and 54 seconds of track time. And Becca's only a second off. Both those Subarus, if they haven't won the Constructors yet, I don't know what the hell is happening. But they have put on an absolute masterclass in how to run a championship. Crilly or Damon finishing P3, rounding out, taking the final podium spot for the sprint race. Jan 20 finishing 4th. After starting P2, was not going to be happy with that. But pretty good recovery drive considering his incident early in the race. Dr. Hobo, Mr. Gum finishing 5th. Mikey Sands finishing 6th. The Birds finishing 7th. I2 Point, Harkshield finishing 8th. Inorganic 9th. Fudo 10th. And then TGR, Dirty 63, Boyan, Lord Hands, Cracavelli. No, John Oradea, sorry. your final 5 finishes, and Crackavelli getting a DNF, unfortunately for him. That is the sprint race finishing positions. If you're new here and you don't know, for the feature race, take the top 10 drivers, reverse them, and that is your starting grid for the feature race, and then the P11 to 16 just start where they are. So Fudo may not have got many points in the sprint race, but will be starting in that pole position. And all I'm going to say is, from my experience, starting on pole in a feature could mean that you win the race. So we'll see what happens. That's all I'm going to say. Yes, I am going to bring in the fact that I won my first ever feature race here the other week. Not to make it all about me, because, again, who the hell's here for me? Let me, very quickly, in the background, switch over to the feature race. What are we expecting then? We're expecting more carnage. Most of the carnage of that race actually came from the start. So we got a rolling start, of course. So not expecting as much of the craziness, but we'll see. What are you talking about? Oh, you're kidding me. All right, 1 second. 1 second. Turns out, I can't load the replay. So if you give me 30 seconds, I'm going to see if I can... If I remove items from my collection, does that free up space? I've never had this happen before. I thought if I was viewing, it was fine. God, I love Gran Turismo. It's so good. Heavy sarcasm implied. Alrighty. Collection. Try. Please work. Please work with me, Gran Turismo. Please work with me. Huh? For reference... I've never had this happen before. I've never had this happen before. 1 second. I didn't think I'd be Googling Gran Turismo error codes today. Huh. Well, apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a little bit of a delay. I'm going to restart my application. So, I'll give you a nice view of Tokyo Expressway while I do that. And hopefully fix that. I just deleted a couple replays as well. I wish I didn't have to do that. Oh, I love this game. It just works whenever I want it to. So guys, how's life? How's life? Let's turn this into a little podcast while I try and fix this issue. I see 5 concurrent viewers. I need one of you to start talking to me, please. Fix that. Fill the dead time. Oh, I'd love it if this worked. Technical issues. Alright, 1 second. World map. Showcase. Collection. Tokyo feature. Success. There we go. We're back in business. Oh my god, this game is something else. This game... is something else. Here we go. Right. Are we ready to go, ladies and gentlemen? Because I am. Feature race of Tokyo Expressways, 21 laps, 5 times tyre wear, 3 times fuel. We all saw the craziness of the sprint race. Let's see if any of that transfers over to the feature race. Let's get racing. Or we would if my stream deck would work. Oh my god, nothing's working today. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. On board with Fudo as he leads the charge across the line in a short order. There we go. 3, 2, 1. And the lights are out, I guess. I don't know. Fudo's going, though, as he's leading the charge down into turn 1 from the rolling start. No craziness this time. Fudo leading from Inorganic, from HK, from the Birds, from Mikey Sands, from Gum, from Ian, from Damon. No moves yet, it seems, especially at the front of the field. Ian's gonna, never mind, HK's just done a pass on Inorganic to put the Audis into P1 and P2. They have the power of God and anime on their side. Elite reference. Inorganic's not going to take that line down, though. I know this man. I don't know this man, but we'll see if he can get that. That looks like a little bit squirrely from HK as he makes his way around that square pin. Almost cutting the corner, just shaking a little bit on the exit, but looks like everyone's made it through unscathed. Things we love to see. Fudo still leading. That sounds like some sparks are flying off the wall as some people are catching the guardrail. HK though now backing up Inorganic, giving Fudo a little bit of room to breathe. This is the good team game here. Inorganic though gonna want to pass. He has a look to the inside there, doesn't go for it. Has another look to the inside, doesn't go for it. It's the problem with this section of the track. It's so fast and it's so narrow. You don't really have the space to make a move. Inorganic electing not to go for a dive bomb. Hugging the inside wall as he potentially gets on the inside of HK there through the hairpin. Does he make a move? No, he does not. Does not have the exit speed, so stays in P3, but still right on the cusp. That is... Hold up. Did something happen? That is a car in the wall. So you got Ollie now down in P11, who lost position to TJR, I believe. See what happens here. On board with TJR as he's right on the back of Mikey Sands. Looks like he has an issue there and he just misses his brake zone, goes into the wall. That's really unfortunate for TJR there, who drops all the way down from P6 to P16 from P10 and he's in the pits straight away. Going to assume he didn't mean to do that, but he's in the pits and he's down to P16, which is really unfortunate for TJR, for the man who did not want me to watch this stream, but ah well. Sorry, mate. Is what it is. Inorganic P3, still chasing down the 2 Audis, but has got a little bit of a gap in front of him building, and a gap behind him closing as the Birds trying to chase down the Citroen, but no, Ian's going to get the position. Does he hold it though? He's got the outside line to contest with for the... No, he's in front anyway. He's in front before turn 1. What am I even saying? Ian's in P4 with the Birds now hot on his heels. Becca's in P6, up from P9. Already in a lap, Becca's pushing as hard as they possibly can on the hard tyres. Gum electing to start on the mediums. The second, that is, looks like a bit of smoke flying, but doesn't look like anyone spun out. Essentially a bit of contact there as Gum is on the heels of Damon trying to get P7 from him. That is a lot of cars making their way through this square pin, the container section. Mikey Sands leading a train of his own down in P9. That one of those in the train is the race winner from the sprint race, Ollie, who's still in P10 where he started the race. Chasing down Mikey Sands to try and get past him and catch up to the train in front, containing his teammate and everyone else to win in the race. Ollie gets past at the start of sector 2. Mikey Sands now chasing, trying to get a nice tow as we make our way down to the sharp hairpin at the end at turn 11. I need a bit of water. Oh my god. It's been absolute insanity so far. That is 2 Ferraris trying to threaten a Citroen. Goes quite wide though there. does Lord Hans. Crackaveli going for a more narrower line, but both getting out decently well enough. Still racing. Following Boyan for a little bit is now in a lot of empty space in front and behind. Airtown Jenna though, similar story, a lot more empty space in front and behind, and TJR bringing up the rear after that unfortunate incident last lap. HK still leading, no, HK now leading from his teammate. Both of them working together as much as possible. A little bit of a bump draft there and a little bit of hip and shoulder as well while they're at it. God, this would make for some beautiful shots as both of these drivers making their way through almost wheel to wheel in perfect sync. And Fudo goes back onto the rear of HK, trying to get a little bit of help from his teammate with so many cars following him. Got a Crunchyroll roadblock here. I've got to say, I love the livery. I love the livery. But we've got the Citroen and the Honda of Inorganic and Ian following right behind. They're not teammates, but they may as well be right now. As Fudo gives a little bit of bump to HK's teammate. HK is in the wall and loses a position to Ian. That is unfortunate for him. Just too wide in an area where you do not want to be too wide in. HK losing a position to Fudo because of Fudo and to Ian. Now puts him in striking distance of Ollie and Inorganic. We'll see if either of them make a move as we head down again through the tunnel section on our way to the hairpin of turn 11, where most of the moves and most of the crashes have been happening. That is 3 more cars quite a ways away. I think we've already talked about those though. So we'll let them do their time trialing, shall we? It's Fudo leading from Ian, from HK, from Ollie, from Inorganic. Let's jump on board with Ollie for a little bit, as he is now up to P4 from P10 only a lap and a bit ago. Now looking to make a move on HK, but HK getting a better exit than him out of the hairpin. Ollie right on the bumper though. Does he make a move as he go into the right-hander of the first of the S's in sector 3? No, he doesn't make a move there. He's going to hang back a little bit. It's Inorganic now, having a watch of the battle unfold in front of him and seeing if he can get his nose in edgeways here, trying to get a battle. Then he puts himself on the inside of Ollie, but not quite far enough in to get a move even started, as Ollie's still holding P4. Inorganic still chasing down, and HK still got the Swissman breathing down his neck as we go through for the start of lap 4. Ollie on the inside. Can he make it stick? Inorganic, is that Inorganic in a wall? That looks like Inorganic in a wall. Sorry, I'm going to jump back to Inorganic very quickly. And we're going to go for the third person camera here. See a little bit more clearly the gap unfolding as Ollie goes for the inside, and Inorganic going for a bit of a crazy move, hits the wall there, loses a bit of time to Ollie, and that opens the door for Birds to take P5 from him. And Damon now on his rear bumper. That's going to be a bit of a blunder from Inorganic, but nothing crazy that's hindered his race. He's just lost position and lost the track position, lost the battle. That is Ollie. Oh, what? Sorry, I'm going to watch that again. Ollie, you psychopath. Getting yourself stuck between a wall and a Harshilk here. Chasing him down, has a look to the inside, goes to the fake. HK does not fall for it, so Ollie tries to go for a fake to get HK to move to the inside. But HK doesn't move at all, and Ollie is left committing to a move that was not there. Catches the wall, thankfully doesn't damage his car, but does slow him down a little bit too much as he tried to make a move on HK that just did not work. The dummy dive. Don't know if it's just not the right person to make the move on, or if HK knew that it was coming. Ollie, a good attempt, but did not work out for you. He's still trying to make a move though on HK as we go through the tunnels, and it's an area where a lot of moves have been made today with that big toe that you can get down through the tunnels. Ollie going a little bit wide there, grazing the wall again. He's got all the track and then some. He's paid for the game. He's going to use the whole game. Is that Damon making a move in the background? Hold the phone. Damon making a beautiful dive bomb on the Birds. Inorganic claiming a position off that, but oversteers through the exit. Does he still have pace? I don't think he does. No, Birds taking that position back from that oversteer from Inorganic. That's so unfortunate for him. Great move from both him and Damon. Inorganic unable to hold on to it, but the Birds caught lacking. I think I could have read that situation wrong, but you know, it's fine. Beautiful dive bomb from Damon there. Ollie's still chasing HK a lap and a half later. We saw it start down in the square pin when HK clipped the wall as we start lap 5. Ollie's still trying to make a move happen, but it's not working here as he looks to the outside of HK, but HK comes it off. Now he looks to the inside. Does he have the pace? He does not. HK is still keeping himself ahead. Ollie cannot get past. Or can he? As we head down into where he tried to make a move happen earlier, still on the rear bumper. Is he trying to go for a bump draft here? He goes to the outside. Brakes a little bit later there, wheel to wheel, but HK has the better line here. Ollie, can he get his nose on the inside here? He doesn't. HK still in front! This is a masterclass of defense from HK, who so far this season has not had many battles with Ollie, but Ollie now making a move on the inside. Gives a little bit of hip and shoulder on the way through, which causes HK to lose a little bit more pace, and Damon claims P4 from that. Ollie finally getting the move done. But HK made him work for it. Great battle from those two drivers. Now Ollie has Fudo and Ian to contend with. The second Audi in front of him. Familiar sight for him, but a different name above the car is Damon. Also maybe having a look at making a move on Ollie, but doesn't quite. A lot of hip and shoulder being thrown around these cars. Ollie got a bit of space to close now, but he's now conducting a train of his own behind him as quite a few cars are starting to pile up's the wrong word, but you know, form a queue down this narrow track. Through the S as we go then. Ollie trying to put the power down. Ian got the fast lap. We're going to jump on board with Ian for a little bit actually, because he has made his way up to P1, has built a considerable lead, quite a considerable lead on those racing medium tyres. Now he's got a bit of time to just chillax, maybe nurture the tyres, conserve the fuel, give Greenpeace a little bit of a day off, I don't know. But he's got so much time on his hands now behind him, and it's only going to increase. Fudo, P2, will see that Ollie is behind, and not by a long way. Maybe you start feeling the pressure, or maybe he'll keep it composed, maybe he'll keep running. But the gap between 1 and 2, and then the gap between 2 and 3 is still pretty big as we're 6 laps into the race now. Ollie, though, still conducting a train. We're seeing on the map. That looks like a little twitch from someone. Hold up. Let's see that again. Going to jump on board with Inorganic for a bit as he's on the inside of Gum. Gum tries to go for a late braking, but Inorganic holding the inside line where you want to be there. Gum, yeah, having a little bit of a slide as he catches a little bit of side skirt from Inorganic. Loses a bit of time there, and Inorganic now comfortably ahead of Gum. Chasing down Gum's teammate in the other Lexus ahead of him, P6. HK still down in P5 after Gum and Damon and Ollie getting their position on him last lap. Gap building a lot in front now. And the Birds right on the bumper. Well, not quite right on the bumper, but close enough to get a little toe. Trying to get past HK as we come down on our way into turn 11 hairpin. Will we see another dive bomb happen today? No, we will not. Not right now. The Birds not going for it. That is HK and the Birds, though, getting past Damon, who has started on the soft tyres and just pitted after 6 laps. I'm going to say he's going to go for a 2-stop. Going to go out on a limb. We'll see how it works out for him, shall we? As the Birds goes almost 6/10 quicker than his previous fastest time on the last lap on medium tyres. Pretty good work. Jump on board with Gum, who's a little bit twitchy through the S's, still chasing Inorganic and Citroen. Trying to catch up to his teammate who's a little bit ahead. Beckers, though, not quite sure what's happened with Beckers so far this race. Started, of course, in P9, up into P8, so has improved, but not really put a big threat to a lot of the drivers yet. And has Mikey's hands breathing down his neck as well. He is on the race now, to be fair. Could be going for the 1-stop, which on this track, yeah, is a valid option. But with a pit loss time so short, are the hards worth it over the 2 softs? See if it works out for Beckers, but got another 14 or so laps before we see what ends up unfolding by the end of the race. Mikey Sanso putting pressure on Becker's. Mikey on the medium tyres, not looking too much worse than Becker's softs, surprisingly. So we'll see how it looks by the end of the race, or by the time one of these drivers goes into the pits. Hanzo, Ferrari in P10, starting quite low down, I believe down in P14 after the sprint race, so made up some good positions so far already. See how many more Hans can make up. Damon down in P11. He was doing quite well before as well, so I'm not quite sure why. Oh, of course, he pitted. I forgot about that. Which gives Boyan a reference car, but Boyan's softs are gone. I've just noticed that. And that has caused his pit entry to be a little bit difficult, but he's in the pits after 7 laps. Cooks that front left soft as much as possible. Ayrton Jenner coming down into the hairpin as he's leading from Crackavelli. Goes quite wide there, and Crackavelli makes a nice move on the inside to take P12 from Ayrton Jenner, but does he have the exit speed? It looks like they're both going to battle now. Ayrton Jenner taking P12 back from Crackavelli as he comes and starts Sector 3 in the S's. Go jump back to 4M Pusher, who has also gained a position on Boyan as he's exited the pits, and that is TJR still in P16 after that unfortunate lap 1 pit. So now that a couple of the drivers have come out of the pits, TJR is back in some battles, but is not where he wanted to be at this point in the race. Ian still leading the charge by quite a decent way, and still with the fastest lap point, but you can see Ian now, Ollie now behind him as he's dispatched Fudo to take P2. Ian and Ollie, we've seen plenty of battles between these two drivers, two of the fastest drivers in this tier. See if Ian can hold out or if Ollie will be claiming that fastest lap and then the P1 later on. We'll see what happens with these two. But they've got plenty of space between them. We'll see, so they have to push without much of a reference of what the other's doing. Fudo now down to P3 after a very good start. He is trailed by his teammate, both the two Crunchyroll Audis doing a very good job. Doing a pretty good job. Of course, not where they want to be right now considering their start positions and how they started the first lap. Both leading the race now, both in P3 and P4, but you look at the names in front of them, you can't be too mad, can you? HK leading the Birds by a couple of seconds as we start Sector 3, but Birds has now got Becker's breathing down his neck. Becker's now up to P6. Everybody knows what that Subaru can do. Ian still got the fastest lap. I thought that updated for a second, but I just blinked probably. Becker's got a little bit of a gap behind him forming, or Inorganic. Becker's still on the hards though, and Inorganic on the mediums, potentially out of their effective range. Mikey Santos will now be serving a half-second penalty. So we'll lose track position to Lord Hans, potentially Gum as well, as Gum tries to put a push down into turn 1. He gets past, gets his car all the way in front, is leading Mikey Sands through turn 1. Mikey down in P10, losing 2 positions to that penalty, trailed by his teammate Damon, who is on his second set of softs, so he's definitely going for the 2-stop. Interesting putting the softs first, I'd say. Very interesting, but you know what? If it works, it works. We'll see what happens by the end of the race. The 2 slow cars, as they like to call themselves. 2 slow racing. Making their way through the square pin in turns 2, 3, 4 and 5. A little bit of scratching on the front bumper, but nothing crazy. Damon having a look on the inside of his teammate, but not going for a move. Of course, Mikey Sands on the older tyres. Does he want to hold up his teammate? Do they even know what each other were doing? That's the question. But it will always be interesting to see what happens here. If Mikey Sands lets his teammate go by, where he lets his teammate go by. Ian's in the pits for mediums, or off his mediums, which means Ollie is now into P1, also on mediums, so just making them last a little bit better right now. Fudo picking up a half-second penalty somewhere, I'm not quite sure how or where. on a track where the track limits are walls, how do you pick up a penalty? Birds now up to P4. Beckers, though, still pressuring the Birds. Gap is closing ever so slightly. Can Beckers get himself up another position and threatening the Audi cars for that P3? We're going to go down, though, to Inorganic right now. He's still got that gap to close in front of Beckers. It's only opening even more. Hans up into P7 has done a pretty good run from a P14 start there. Got to commend it. And has got a bit of gap to work with now. Gum and Damon still battling. Damon now into P8. On the inside of Gum through turn 1. That's a good move there. Catching a little bit of wall on the exit. That may slow him down a little bit. Does Gum get the position back? Down into turn 2. See what happens. Mikey Sanson P10 now. Got plenty of gap in behind him and plenty of action to watch in front. He has let his teammate go by as well. Ian down to P11 then, so has gone for a medium so far. So probably will go medium soft. Fair enough. That is a yellow flag. What happened? I'm not sure. It looks like everyone's fine. It looks like everyone is fine, so I'm going to ignore that. Ollie has got a lot of space behind him. Oh my god, this man is on fire. I'll be interested to see if he goes to the pits now and where he will emerge with such a big gap behind him. Does he go for the pits? He does go for the pit lane. 10 laps on those medium tyres. Does he go for another set of mediums like Ian, or does he go for the hards to do a 1-stop, or does he go to the softs to do a 2-stop? See what happens as Fudo and HK now take back P1 and P2 in the Crunchyroll Audis. The Birds and Inorganic join Ollie in the pit lane. Beckers is now onto the... Ollie's gone onto the softs, so he's going for a 2-stop. Looks like he's fueled his car now, so he doesn't have to fuel it later as well. Beckers back into the podium positions where that Subaru belongs. On the hard tyres, will be going for a 1-stop most likely. Pressuring HK. It's a game we've seen before, but different flag next to the name on the Subaru this time. Got a Subaru pressuring an Audi. See what unfolds here as Damon is now chasing down Ollie. No, sorry, Beckers. Going through turn 1. As his softs are starting to look worse for wear. You can see the times on the right side of your screen. Set a good lap time in lap 8. But since then has been a little bit slower each lap. Are these second set of softs running out of steam as Becker's still chasing down HK? Has a little bit of a look to the inside. It goes for a later apex, I'd say. I don't know what I'm talking about. Beckers though still got a bit of a gap to close to HK and Fudo. Not quite putting the pressure on as much as they want to yet. Ollie is in P5, emerging from the pits. So far ahead of everyone. Ian in P6. So Ian going for the 2 mediums, Ollie going from the medium to the soft. We'll see which works better for which driver by the end of the race. The Birds got plenty of space in front and behind now. Gum also now on the soft tyres after pitting just a moment ago. Inorganic also got plenty of space in front and behind. Or in front and less behind. As Lord Hans is down into P10 again from his pit stop. Goes a second quicker than his previous fastest lap, which was a 2:2.224. Boyan P11 on his second set of soft tyres. So looking a little bit worse for wear now though, but he did push his first set 7 laps. Can he push these another 3? We'll see what happens. I don't know if he'll want to be honest. 4-end pusher. Does he go for a move on Boyan as Mikey Sands has got a front row seat to this race? 4-end pusher does not make a move, but Mike Sands looks to make a move on the inside of 4-end pusher. Does not have the pace out of the hairpin. 4-end pusher keeping P12. Mikey Sands showing his intent to race, but does have that half-second penalty to contest with in just a couple turns time, where he will be serving it. So losing a little bit of gap to the cars in front. TGR up to 14th now on that medium set of tyres. From that pit stop, that mistake pit stop earlier, so unfortunate for him, but he's down in P14 right now. Airtown Jenna putting a bit of pressure on, also on worn medium tyres, and Crackavelli coming out of the pits just a lap ago onto new fresh medium tyres, down in 16th place. Ollie picks up the fastest lap of the race. Still in P3. Or sorry, he's now in P3. Picked up a position or two, I believe. Back onto the podium positions. Damon got a good view of his rival in front of him, Becker's, but both cars are on worn tyres. Damon on the softs, Becker's on the hards. What will we see happening here? I'm going to assume Damon's going to pit here. I've got to assume Damon's going to pit. Becker's, he's on the hards. It's tough to tell what the effective range of those hards are. Does he go another couple of laps, or does he go to the mediums now? We will see. Is that the pit lane? That is the pit lane for both Becker's and Damon. Both cars jump into the pits, which leaves Ollie to take P1 again, and Ian to take P2. Order has been restored, ladies and gentlemen. Ollie in P1. Not leading by as much as he was before his pit stop, but Ian still trying to put power down as much as possible. He's on the medium tyres. These will last him a lot longer than Ollie's soft tyres will. Of course, Ian did pit to them a little bit before Ollie did pit it to his softs. Both have to serve one more pit stop given their chosen tyres, so we'll see what happens towards the end of the race. We're crossing the line to start lap 13 of 21. 9 more laps remaining before we can crown our round 6 feature race winner. Jumping back to the birds. So he goes round turn 1 in P3. Also on the racing soft tyres. And the Gum, his teammate, P4. So you have a Subaru, a Honda, and 2 Lexuses holding up the top 4 positions. Japanese top 4. Who's in P5? It's the French car. I was gonna say, you ruined it in organic. In organic though, on the soft tyres in the Citroen GT, trying to chase down the Gum and the Birds in front of him. A little bit wide for the exit of turn 3 there, it looks like, but nothing too crazy. You can see Fudo in the background there as he comes out of the pits a couple laps ago onto soft tyres, trying to set the timesheet on fire now, putting down as much time as possible. Damon, the second Alfa Romeo, currently the leading Alfa Romeo in P7 on fresh medium tyres. And Becker's trying to chase down Damon for P8. Damon, of course, already done 2 soft stints, is now on the mediums till the end of the race. Becker's started on the hards, now on the mediums till the end of the race. So 2 stop versus 1 stop. Damon currently leading, even though he entered the pit after. So we'll see which car has the pace to win this little battle here. HK P9. A little bit away from his teammate now. Both drivers were very close to each other earlier on. Boyan goes into the pits from P11, drops an initial position almost immediately. So that is his second set of soft tyres done after 13 laps. Mike South has Lord Hands breathing down his neck. Boyan switching tyres, fueling up one final time for the race. Airtown Jenna and CGR doing the same thing. Going to assume Airtown and TJR both are going to switch to hard tyres now, I want to say. Or maybe they both go to soft tyres and still do a 2-stop. I feel like from their position that is not where you want to be. You do not want to be making another pit stop. Ollie a mile ahead right now from everyone else in the field. Still holding that fastest lap currently. To make our way round turn 6. Some absolutely beautiful times here through the tunnel section in the nice, beautiful purple special Subaru. It looks lovely under the Tokyo streetlights. Ian, though, still in his blacked out Honda NSX GT3 car that we've become familiar with over the last few rounds. Also is one of the fastest drivers in this tier, behind the Subarus. Proven to be a menace to Ollie's win rate. But can he beat him is the question. Ollie's still on the softs. We'll probably have to make a pit stop on the next lap for one more set of soft tyres. A little bit of a twitch there. I'm going to assume that's lag. Cheers. Cheers, GT. And they're coming round the final turn down the start-finish straight to start lap 15. Half a second off his best time that last lap. Of course, he was on the soft tyres earlier, so it makes sense. The Birds still holding P3 from his teammate Gum in P4. Inorganic, though, still trying to close the distance on the two Lexuses. Gap is closing ever so slightly, but I don't think it'll be quite enough for a while. Anyways, on the softs. Gum is also on the softs, actually, a couple laps older soft. So maybe he will be pitting soon, especially if he's to do one more stint. See what he goes for. Fudo down in P6. Splitting him from his teammate is Damon in P7, HK in P8 then. And with a big gap behind that is Lord Hands in P9 and Mikey Sands in P10, bringing up the final position in the top 10. As he makes his way through the brake zone into turn 2, turn 3, turn 4 and turn 5 chicane. Chasing down Lord Hands in P9. Becca's down in P11. I'm very sure that's not where Becca's would want to be. We'll see how much more pace Becca's can pull out of the hat before the end of this race, before the checkered flag does fall. That is the Birds in the pit stop. And Inorganic following Gum into the pit stop as well. Inorganic, though, right on the rear bumper of Gum, does have a lot more fuel as we enter the pits. Will Inorganic be able to exit the pits in front of Gum? We'll see that. But Damon, profiting from a few late pit stoppers, going up to P4. HK, similar story, going up to P5. Lord Hands into P6 as Birds exits in P7 and splits the Ferrari and the Alfa Romeo. Gum exits in P9. Inorganic still exits in P10 regardless. Fuel stop, I think that may have been a mistake, because there's no way you need that much fuel for 5.5 laps. Becca's on the rear bumper of Inorganic. Can Becca's make a move on slightly more worn-in tyres? Yes, Becca's on the mediums, but they are up to temperatures now. Inorganic catching the wall. Becca's catching Inorganic. It's unfortunate for both drivers getting a bit of an incident there. Becca's losing out more than that, though. A little racing incident for you there. Crackavelli in P12. Boyan chasing down Crackavelli for P13. Foreign Pusher still in P14 on the relatively fresh softs, but for the looks of things, may need to pit one more time before the end of this race. Airtown Jenna, similar story. And TGR, similar story, down in the final position of P16. Ollie, on his soft tyres, on his first set of soft tyres, will now be making his run into the pits for his final tyre change of the evening, which leaves Ian to claim P1 as he rounds the turn 11 hairpin. Claims P1. Now, where will Ollie emerge? It looks like he's going to emerge in P2, where he is now, with plenty of gap behind, but more importantly, a big gap in front to close in the next 5 laps. He has the soft tyres, he will have the pace advantage over Ian, and he's been having the pace advantage over everyone in this lobby for the entire season. Can he bring it home another win for Team Subaru? Only time will tell, as he's got 5 laps and 2 turns left to do it, but Ian already a couple steps ahead. It's a game of cat and mouse at the front of the field now. Fudo is now in P3, leading from Damon, chasing him down as strong as he possibly can. Fudo in the softs, Damon on the mediums, but Fudo is running out of life. in those tyres. He is squeezing them dry to get as much pace as possible. Damon can just have a nice little Sunday drive. I don't know if he knows what tyres Fudo is on. But regardless, Damon can either push now or take a Sunday drive, whatever works for him. He will be claiming that P3 as soon as Fudo blinks and gets himself into the pits. HK got a big gap in front of him to Damon, also on the softs, and a similar story to his teammate. Got a bit more of a gap behind him that he doesn't have to worry about, and enough fuel that he doesn't have to refuel. Just needs a tyre change as soon as he goes in, but that is not the story you want this close towards the checkered flag falling. The Bird's on a fresh set of soft tyres. He knows that he can do it. He knows that he can chase down HK. Does he know that how easy it will be as soon as HK decides to pit? Damon is still right on the rear bumper of Fudo. I feel like we may see a pass happening soon. Ian's gone into the pits again. Of course! Ian went medium. I forgot about that. So the gap that he had is just crumbled to nothing as Ollie now pits again. The tables have turned. As Fudo makes his way into the pits one last time for this race. Damon takes P3 because of that. Ian is now on the softs. Ian has 4 more laps to close a gap of about 6 or 7 seconds to Ollie, who is already on softs that have been worn in for a lap. Now Ian, by the time the checker flag falls, his tyres will be looking better, but will they look better longer? Will they look better long enough for him to make a pass or even a challenge on Ollie? Or has Ollie played the strategy perfectly, and will he finish in P1? Well, only time will tell. See the headlights of Ian on the wall behind Ollie. See what happens there as Damon, now in P3, has a big gap to fill in front to try and chase down, challenge for those top 2 positions. It's a tall order for the Alfa Romeo driver. He'd be content walking away with a podium now, and with a big gap behind him of the Birds, who is on the better tyres, but has a lot of gap to close. It's looking almost certain that Damon will finish P3, the Birds will finish P4, unless Fudo has anything to say about it, who does have the Birds in his sight. Also on the soft tyres are a lap or 2 fresher. But again, all these drivers now running out of time to make a move. Scum is now in P6 on worn soft tyres. Will those make it round for the next 3.5 laps? My apologies. Beckers is in front of Inorganic, trying to hold off as Inorganic on the soft tyres, looking a lot fresher than Beckers. Will Inorganic be able to make a pass? He's on the better tyres. Beckers, though, arguably in the better car. See what happens, especially Beckers can hold off long enough, let Inorganic wear away the rubber on his tyres. And Beckers just holds off long enough for those mediums to still be competent against the softs. But Inorganic goes on the inside. Can he make the move stick? He does make the move stick as we go through the turn 11 hairpin. Inorganic getting a bit of a slower exit due to being on the inside line. Does Beckers have enough pace to make a challenge again as we go up towards turn 13. Beckers on the outside of the right-hander, on the inside of the left, back in front of Inorganic, who has another look on the inside. Does Inorganic make a move as we go through our final left-handed turn of the lap? Beckers had the inside, is holding track position. Beckers is in P7, still holding off Inorganic. Oh my god, that was an absolutely beautiful symphony of a battle between these two drivers. It is only for P7, but that final from the hairpin to the timing line, Inorganic catches the wall there. Wow, what a battle between those two. I want to see more of that as the race unfolds. HK and plenty of open air behind them. If only he was close enough to see the battle that just unfolded in front of him. Hans holding up P10. Mikey Sands still trying to chase that Ferrari for P11. Running out of time, running out of space. Boyan in P12. TGR in P13 made up a couple positions from his unfortunate start, and Krakovelli, though, trying to take one away from him. Doesn't quite have the space there. Does have the outside line to get a little bit more pace through turn 1, but TGR holding off that position. Krakovelli still chasing down TGR for P13. Airtown Jenna in P15 got a long way away from everyone else, and that is one driver who has disconnected as well, who we'll find out who that is afterwards. Ollie in P1. 2 laps to go. Ian chasing him down. The gap is thinning ever so slightly. Look at the times though. 157.4 previously for Ian, 157.3 previously for Ollie. Just sets a 157.9. What does Ian set? A 157.3 goes quickest of the race session so far with 2 laps to go. Is Ian putting the pressure on Ollie? 2 laps. What is that? 31 turns remaining, roughly, for Ian to try and catch Ollie, to get a race win under his belt, take it away from the undisputed GOAT of this tier so far. Damon, the gap has only increased ahead of him, so will definitely be finishing in that P3 position unless something crazy happens. Go jump back to Birds, who is still leading from Fudo, but not by a long margin anymore. Gum also still trying to chase Fudo, but those tyres are looking really worse for wear. He's going to have to do some crazy management now as we make our way around the penultimate lap. Beckers and Inorganic has disappeared off the face of the earth, it seems. Unfortunate for him, but Beckers is now still in P7. HK is in P8. Hans is in P9. Inorganic is in P10. I'm going to assume Inorganic has had a few hip and shoulder incidents with the walls. That is a 218 next to his name, though. So I was going to say a pit stop, but I don't think so, considering his tyres. I'm going to assume just a crash, maybe a spin. It's unfortunate for Inorganic, who gave us probably one of the best battles today. That was absolutely beautiful from them earlier, but Inorganic now down into P10. That gives Lord Hans the P9 position. HK P8. Becker's P7 with plenty of space to breathe. Mikey Sands down in P11. Does not have the Ferrari to chase anymore, but does have a Toyota chasing him. Krakovelli still in P13. Has managed to get back past TGR now, who goes wide and his front left is gone. It's not been a nice evening for him, for TGR tonight. He's struggling to get his car around on the penultimate lap. Airtown Jenna, though, still got a big gap to close to get out at 15. TGR not looking in a good position, but neither is Airtown Jenna, with that front left also looking very cooked. Jumping back towards Ollie as he started his final lap, rounding turn 1. Ian still trying to close the gap. But you look at the times, Ollie with a 158.5. Ian with a 157.9 previously. Yes, Ian is faster, but he's not quite fast enough to close the gap. We're going to stay on board with these two drivers. We're going to flick between them for the rest of the race, I believe. Because what a drive. 2 different 2-stop strategies. The medium soft for Ian. The medium soft for Ollie. Working more towards the soft tyres' favour. Of course, a track with a lot of straight line speed. So a track where you can really push the softs a lot more. You can make them last a lot longer, but of course you've got the sharp turns, the fast turns, where it does cook them if you're not careful. And of course another feature of the short mid-lap pit stop has brought a lot of different tyre strategies into this race. We've seen quite a few different ones. We've seen the hard medium from Ollie's teammate down in 7th. We've seen the two different 2 stops from Ollie and Ian, as Ollie's now struggling with a bit of tyre wear on that front left, getting it around not as clean as previous laps. Ian also looks like he had a similar issue, but got a little bit faster exit. May have a little bit of space still to breathe, but that door is closing very rapidly as Ollie makes his way around turn 14, turn 15, and the final turn 16. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard me say it enough this season, put your hands together for Ollie, who has won yet another race here at Tokyo Expressways. Ian takes that silver medal for the feature race, and Damon, as he rounds his way through the S's, is nowhere to be seen in the rear mirrors of the first 2 drivers. Still, though, picks up that bronze medal, the 3rd position on the podium for today's feature race. Great work for the Alfa Romeo driver. Fudo, the next driver to cross the finish line in that Crunchyroll Audi. I love the livery, it has to be said. Finishing in P4. The Birds finishing in P5. Gum finishing in P6, just behind his teammate, and Becker's in P7. Not where Becker's would have wanted to finish, given the track record they've had, but still a decent finishing position nevertheless. HK, the 2nd Crunchyroll Audi, finishing P8. Lord Hans is in a wall. We're going to go back, and we're going to witness what happened. So Lord Hans chasing HK, catches the wall, just going too fast through the S's, and that spins him around completely. So unfortunate for Hans, who otherwise was having a pretty good race. Now, unfortunately, it's led to Inorganic, Mikey Sands, and Boyan all claiming free positions from that spin. So we're going to jump back towards Inorganic, who gave us one of the best battles of the night, but unfortunately just did not manage to retain that position, finishing in P9 ahead of Mikey Sands and Boyan. Boyan a pretty... Oh, that... Lord Hans is still in a wall. Boyan doing a pretty good showing for his first race with us this season. We're going to jump on board with Lord Hans, though, who has front damage on both of his front wheels, his front bumper and his rear bumper, and just oversteers through the final turn. It's unfortunate to see, and just million point turns try and get it round. It's good sportsmanship from his teammate Cracavelli, who does wait and let Lord Hans finish in P12 regardless. Not sure I would have been such a good teammate, but that is the 2 Ferraris finishing in P12 and P13. That's really unfortunate finish from Lord Hans, who otherwise had a very strong race compared to a lot of what we've seen from him this season. Airtown Jenner finishing with basically 0 rubber left on his tyres. He's finishing driving on the rims at this point in the very busted up looking Porsche. But you know what? He crosses the line. And TJR, similar story. Those tyres are gone. And he's Tow Mater! He's the world's best backwards driver! Hell yeah! Except he's driving a French car and it does not look like a pickup truck. But you know what? We've got to respect the flair. We got to, even though it was all he could do, we got to respect the flair of the world's best backwards driver finish. What a race! That is Dirty 63, who was our DNF, unfortunately. But oh my god, what a race that was. Ollie finishing P1. What else do we expect? 42 minutes 32 seconds of track time. Jan only 3.8 seconds off, picking up the fastest lap point. Krilly finishing off our podium, 21 seconds behind Ollie. Fudo finishing P4, Birds finishing P5, Hobo, Beckers, Harshilk, Inorganic, and Mikey Sands rounding out the top 10. Boyan, great first session with us tonight. Well, 2 weeks ago. You get the point. Great first session. Finishing P11 in the feature race. Lord Hans finishing P12. Unfortunate incident from him on the last lap. Cracavelli showing his teammate support, finishing behind him in P13. John Oradea finishing P14. TGR bringing up the rear on track and finishing in style in P15. Dose 63 with a DNF. Unfortunate, I'm going to assume that was a disconnect. It happens. This is eSports. Let's look at the rankings, shall we? Because I have a feeling nothing has changed. Team WRX, the Subaru WRX, is on 350 points. What? They are 146 points ahead of the Audis. Somebody nerf them. Somebody ban them from Abu Dhabi. These two, Ollie and Beckers, have been cooking. 216 points for Ollie, 134 for Beckers. Absolutely incredible run of form from both these drivers, who are currently sitting in P1 and P4 respectively. Split only by Damon in the Alfa Romeo 4C on 156 points and Fudo on 144 points in the Audi R8 LMS. That is some ridiculous margins at the top of the leaderboards. So your team standings are the Subaru WRX, the Audi R8, and the Alfa Romeo 4C currently leading all over 200 points on each team. The Audi and the Alfas are only 2 points away from each other. We could have a great second place battle on our hands in the last 2 rounds between those two cars. The Lexus RCF about 15, is that 15 points behind the Alfa Romeo in P4, and Citroen a ways away in P5 on 132 points. The Honda NSX just outside of the top 5 on 104. Even though I'm fairly sure, yeah, Ian's a reserve. So missed the first 2 races and is the only, I'm fairly sure, Honda NSX driver so far, and has single-handedly put himself into the top 6 on the constructors. That is, if nothing else gets commended, that should be. Because that is absolutely, that's a great feat from him to single-handedly put his team into top 6. Ferrari 296 sat on 88 points. The Porsche 911 sat on 75. The Mercedes AMG sat on 36. And rounding out the top 10 is the Ford Mustang on 20. Peugeot RCZ on 7. And the GR Supra on 6. The BMW M6 we are yet to see. And as you can see on your screen, that is how the table stands. 21 drivers have raced so far for us in Tier 6. 2 more rounds yet to go. The fastest lap has only ever been won by 4 different drivers and the pole only by 2. Will we see any more added to the fastest lap to the poles over the next 2 races? Only time will tell. I will see you hopefully tomorrow for the Autopolis race. And then Abu Dhabi. The race is on Monday and the stream will be soon after that. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this broadcast, despite all the issues and the sleep deprivation of me. It's been an absolute pleasure commentating for Tier 6 so far this season. I'm absolutely loving the racing. I cannot wait to see what these lads got up to in Autopolis, and I cannot wait to see how this season ends in Abu Dhabi. I hope you guys will be there to watch it with me. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me tonight, and I will see you soon for Autopolis. Bye-bye for now.